All right. Greetings, beautiful humans. My name is AJ, owner of AJ Inc., Triple M Coaching, home of our founder. I'm a little tired. Founder of our home on the web, hackyourself.net. Glad you could join me tonight for our Healing in Nature event. I can't wait till I can actually get somewhere in nature with a good view and show you guys a cool background. Until then, we'll have my Zoom backgrounds. We're going to get started here in just a moment. For those of you that missed our Thanksgiving stream, you might be grateful. I learned a lesson on Thanksgiving. I did an hour stream about 10 o'clock at night on Thanksgiving, diving deeper into pain body and how to work with pain body. And somehow in my tiredness, I didn't secure my live stream very well, and someone hacked into it and started streaming some very inappropriate stuff. So for 5 of you that were on that live stream, sorry it got a little crazy at the end there, and I have hopefully learned a little bit. This time I've made it where people can't stream there or share their screen, so hopefully that'll help. And I have a waiting room this time, so it's going to be a little different. I'm probably not going to just invite anyone in right in the beginning. I'm going to try to do a little bit of information in the beginning, and then we'll open up the room. And hopefully today we'll have a few people join me. I don't know if Efron, a friend who's been joining me, is around today. I haven't had a chance to text him. I'm busy, so we'll see if he shows up. I hope so. But if you are watching and you would like to join in the conversation, I will give you a chance here in about a half hour to jump on the Zoom room and join the conversation. If you want to talk about anything metaphysical, mindfulness, meditation, anything that we talk about here on this channel. So I think I'm going to start with one of my songs like I usually do so I can get settled here and see if anyone's going to join us. So the link to this song should be in the description. I just updated the description. But my band is called Love Trust, and we write medicine music. And this song, if I can find it here. Each song is designed to heal the mind. And this song is about seeing our own projections in relationships. It's called True Reflection. So the link is in the description if you want to look at my whole entire collection of music. You can find my medicine music link in the description. This song is called True Reflection by my band Love Trust. I hope you enjoy it. I'll be back in just a moment. Eyes closed to the sound, and a peace begins to spin, mind and body found. Ego fades away, acceptance starts to bloom. In this trance I sway, souls emerging through, growing strong with every note. Higher self begins to flow. Emotions flow like the sea. I'm becoming truly me. Feel the rhythm steady, and inside starts to glow. Thoughts become already. And a calmness surrounds mind and body free. In this space I'm growing, true self now unfolding. Embrace the light that's showing, pure love I am holding. Well, again, thank you all for joining me. Looks like we have 4 watching right now. Awesome. Let me make sure my volume is working. It is, apparently. All right. So I'm going to try to keep an eye on this live chat over here and my Zoom room. I'm just a one-man show right now, so last time I tried this, I got hacked, like I said earlier. If you missed that, the reason I don't have a Thanksgiving chat, Thanksgiving hangout, like I said I would, I did it, but I had to delete it because I got hacked. So let's hope today turns out better. Let's see. So welcome to today's Healing in Nature event. Today is special because we are going deeper than ever before. We are going to talk about the inner child today and how to heal that part of our body. This is the version of you who learned how to survive your childhood home. So this event is a continuation of the last 2 events. Well, the Thanksgiving one was supposed to tie in, but we're going to just redo that one on Christmas for another special event. But this is just basically we're going through the different parts of my coaching when I coach people one-on-one. And so this is the section where we learn about the inner child. A lot of people have done a lot of inner child work, but it's still kind of elusive on how to do this shadow work and how to actually heal this part of ourselves, especially when it's when we're trying to use, like, say, meditation. Some people don't know how to use the silence and they don't know what to do with the visions that come up. So hopefully we're going to solve some of those problems today for you, and give you a chance to ask any questions on how shadow work works, and we'll see how it goes. So in the last event, we uncovered the pain body, and now we're going back to the source of the wound. And so let's start maybe with a little grounding. No matter when you're watching this, if you're watching it live or later on, you can sit up straight, put your feet down, and you can start by feeling your feet. Feel your breath as you breathe in. Let it go. Feel your chest expand as you breathe in and out. And as you release that air, remind yourself that you are safe here. This is a safe place to heal. This conversation that we're having is going to bring up some feelings, maybe some body memories from the past, but they're going to be healing in the end. And so we're going to work on this together. So inside every adult is a child who never was able to feel seen. This child was always too loud, too sensitive, too curious, about too emotional, too independent, or too magical, too intuitive. Basically, they're too different for their family system. The ones around them couldn't take the difference about this child. And so this child is the one who learned that love was conditional, that affection had rules, and that safety could disappear within seconds, and that they had to perform in order to be accepted. So, what part of you stop being allowed to exist in your childhood? That's where we start. So think about that. Keep that in mind as we move forward. What exactly is the inner child? The inner child is kind of a system of body memories, really. It's a ghost in the machine. The inner child lives in your nervous system. It shows up as fear, anxiety, panic, freezing. It basically shows up as the 4 F's in the last video that the last live we did, the fight, flight, freeze, or fornicate responses. It's the part of you that still feels 6 years old or 9 years old or 14. I know it depends on the childhood wound that I'm thinking about, but most of the time I always go back to either 8 or 10 years old. So I know those must have been pretty definitive years in my training um, to develop some of the beliefs that I've been working on, because those are the years that I go back to. So you're going to be different. Whatever number comes to your conscious mind while we're talking, whatever feeling you have about the age is right. It might change from time to time. The origin of the pain body. The pain body is your inner child trapped in survival mode. And so it's kind of like this collective set of body memories that get triggered whenever it feels like a situation is repeating, and it gets you stuck right back into survival mode. It's kind of like an identity split. In narcissistic families, children are split into roles, and they're forced to play certain roles. Oops, lost my place here. The scapegoat, the golden child, the lost child, the caretaker, the hero child. And with all of these different parts that we were supposed to play, our true self got buried beneath those roles. And so if we really take a look at those roles, the scapegoat, the golden child, the lost child, the caretaker, the hero child, we can really start to see some of the patterns of self-destructive behavior in our adult life, because those are what we were forced to act out by the controllers in our families. So how does the inner child show up in adulthood? Signs your inner child is active. Whenever you're overreacting to rejection, a lot of us have that feeling when we feel like we've been rejected. We can sense ourselves overreacting. I know I used to have that with my children when they were younger. If I felt like they were rejecting me, I would feel myself starting to respond the way that my mother did. And that's really what woke me up, was seeing that. But sometimes we don't know how to stop it. And so that's why we're talking about it today, is we're going to come to some examples of how to actually stop this. So the next one is feeling abandoned over small things. How about freezing during a conflict? I used to do that all the time. I would literally be in the middle of a conflict trying to state my perspective, and I would just freeze. How about people pleasing? Anytime we find ourselves people pleasing, our inner child is active. Needing permission. So as an adult, if you feel like you need to ask permission for something that's your right, you know that the inner child is active. Self-sabotage. Any self-sabotage behavior is coming from a pattern that the inner child used to stay safe. And what's happened is reality has changed, and you no longer need to use that pattern to stay safe. In fact, it no longer keeps you safe, but it's repeating, and it shows up as self-sabotage. This one I'm really guilty of, and I didn't have any choice. Hyper independence. When you get left all alone and you have nothing else, you just quit asking for help. And whenever that happens, you know that inner child is active. In the recent last few months, I've really worked on that and worked on asking for help. And it comes when you know how to ask for it, but it takes recognizing it first. Not trusting happiness. This is a hard one for survivors of abuse, because once we get into a happy situation, there's an old saying that I always think of: when you're raised in trauma, red flags feel like butterflies. And so when you're away from the red flags, there's no more butterflies. Life starts to feel boring. But happiness isn't boring, but it feels that way when you're used to being abused. So when you don't trust happiness, inner child is active. Feeling too much or not enough. So anytime you realize that you're a little dead inside and not feeling enough, or anytime you're feeling too much for the situation, you know, inner child is active. Attracting toxic partners. Now this one is really interesting, because for years I used to think it was the partner's fault. I used to think that the people were mean coming to me. I didn't realize that I was attracting what I needed. I was attracting exactly what I needed at the time to learn about my own wounds. And so if you find yourself with a toxic partner, if you know that's a pattern in your past, maybe after this conversation, you can start seeing that as something not that you're asking for, but maybe you could see it as something that your unconscious mind was attracting. And you might not need to get into another toxic relationship, or you might not need to dissolve the one you're in. If you could get to the bottom of what your pain is and you can heal it, it might heal the relationship, or it will definitely stop you from attracting toxic partners. How about fear of speaking your own truth? This is a big symptom of narcissistic abuse in childhood, because most children, even in pretty healthy family systems, aren't allowed to speak as much as they should be, because it's just a common thing that children should be seen and not heard at times. And I no longer believe that, because I think children should be taught to speak their truth from the beginning. And then lastly, in our list here, I'm sure this isn't an exhaustive list, but the last in this list is being triggered by holidays. Anytime you're triggered by holidays, you know that there's some past issues, probably from childhood. So some examples from the clients that I work with. I work a lot with family systems. I coach entire families. And so in narcissistic family systems, one might become the adult who still walks on eggshells, even when they don't need to. They find themselves walking on eggshells around safe people. That's a good sign. I work with a lot of addiction recovery clients. And if you use substances to soothe the child who never got soothed, that's what we're doing. And I find a lot with addiction recovery, we're not really working on the addiction necessarily, the chemical that the person is choosing to cover up that feeling at the time. What we're working on is detox from the negative emotion from childhood, because ultimately engaging in the addiction lets you feel the shame that you're used to feeling as a child. And so that's really the fight with addiction recovery, is the emotional detox. So once people learn that, the addiction recovery becomes much easier, because they quit blaming themselves for the addiction and they start realizing that it is just a pattern. And I don't want to say it's easy to fix, because it takes a lot of time and attention. But with hypnosis, it gets much easier, because you're actually going to the root core. With identity coaching, you're coaching the identity of the person and not the symptoms. And so it becomes much easier when you take this approach. So if you've tried addiction recovery the old way of putting band-aids on the symptoms and trying to stop the addiction from the outside, if you try it from the inside, the way that I help people, it's a lot more smooth. Um, High control religions. Since I left the Jehovah's Witnesses and realized that they were a cult after 18 years of serving the Watchtower, um, I won't say anything else about it. Um, I work a lot with people who are deprogramming from high control groups and high control religions. And those people tend to fear punishment for simply existing. I remember the first couple years after leaving the cult, I would have remaining feelings, even doing things I knew weren't wrong, like celebrating a holiday. I knew that their reasoning for it wasn't right, but I would still feel guilty. And so it really takes getting in and deprogramming those core beliefs, because they spent hours and hours programming you. So you have to get in and fix it. And that's the kind of work I do one-on-one with clients. And lastly, small business owners, avoiding success because the child in you expects punishment if they get the success. So again, another core belief that if you attack from the outside, it's just anxiety and there's no way to fix it. But if you attack it from the inside, it eventually dissolves itself. So the 4 needs that your inner child never got. Need 1. I bet you all could guess this one. Safety. Not being yelled at, judged, or punished. Now, as we talk about these needs, I want you to really think about inside of you is understanding that one of the first things that cause this and judge and punish you, that should tell you that in order to fix this problem, you can't do any yelling, judging, or punishing yourself. And so this takes a lot of skill in noticing these things and noticing these parts of ourselves. We have to accept them because it needs to be safe. In order for this part of us to reconcile with the rest of us and to show us its hurt parts, it needs to feel safe, and it can't feel judged, and it certainly can't feel punished. And so if you're actively doing parent and your feelings are judging a child who is allowed to make a mistake, and if you punish yourself for those mistakes, you're stuck. There's no way out because you've become the tyrant parent and you're the only way out. And so that's the number one place to look is, are you safe from yourself? Are you safe from your own inner voice? And if not, that's something we can fix together. Just a few sessions can really help your inner voice. But of course, like an ongoing weekly group like my Balanced Life Wheel, that's something that would fix it over a month or two and permanently fix it. So the second need after safety is protection. Someone stepping in and saying, you don't get to treat them that way. So what does that say about us right now? If we are in bullying relationships, if we're in toxic relationships that are echoes from our past, we may need someone to step in and say, nobody can treat this person that way, but we're the one who needs to do it. So we need to open our throat chakra. We need to learn how to speak for ourselves and set boundaries. Nurturing, being held, soothed, and comforted. This one was hard for me because I didn't learn this one until I was all by myself, totally abandoned by everyone, and there was no one around to hold or soothe or comfort me but myself. And I had a client recently ask me just the other day how I talk to myself, and they were reiterating some affirmations. I am worthy. I am. And they're like, do you talk to your inner child like that? And I was like, no, I talk to my inner child like a sacred being, like it is a piece of God. I speak to my inner child with the utmost reverence, because I know that my inner child has been through hell. And when I sit down with him, I literally see him as all children who are abused. I try to look out, take everything I see from the outside and give that to myself. I see that as the saying, healer, heal thyself. I spent too many years trying to help others because I was too afraid to help myself. And when it comes to nurturing your inner child, you are the only one who knows what that inner child needs. You can work one-on-one with me and I can give you what my inner child needed. And that might get a start, but you know the details. You know the actual magic words. You know when that inner child needs a hug. You know what it needs. And so you have to be the one to give that to yourself. And that seems weird, especially to males, but it works. I would spend hours meditating and knowing that I needed love and I needed to love myself. So I would meditate actually hugging myself, actually holding myself. And I wouldn't care. I would sit there for 2 hours in silence and in the park, and I would hear people pass, and I wouldn't care if they thought I was crazy. It wouldn't matter to me because the healing I would get from those sessions were pushing me forward years of do 10 years of therapy. It looks like my live streams froze up. Wonder if okay. I think my live stream's freezing a bit. I hope it keeps up. But nurturing that inner child is very important. And I point this out because it doesn't feel natural. I mean, we're not taught to love ourselves in that way, but we definitely need hugs. And if we don't have somebody around us to hug us and we're meditating and we're lacking that love, the physical act of hugging yourself is just as good. Your body doesn't know um, that it's not someone else. I mean, it feels just as if someone's giving you a hug, and it comforts you, and it heals that wound over time. And the last piece that this inner child was missing, at least for this part, is permission, the right to be yourself. That's pretty much the epitome of most humans' problems these days, is that we were not allowed to be ourselves. We were always taught to be in a mold or to become one of those archetypes. We were expected to play out a role. And if you give yourself the right to be yourself, it will change everything. As soon as I left the high control religion of Jehovah's Witnesses and started allowing myself to dress and be like I wanted, it allowed me to express myself more. And I realized that there was reasons for things. Like I had my piercings. I got some of my piercings as a child, not child, but in my early 20s. And when I took them out, I remember I took them out because people in society, like my mom and others, were like, you don't want to be an old, you don't want to be 40 years old with those piercings. And for some reason, I let their words taint me. And by the time I was 40 years old, I didn't know who I was. And I realized one day, why does it matter if I'm a 40-year-old with piercings? I need to figure out who I am. And when I put them back in, instantly, myself came back. And I gave myself permission to be myself. I think I'm in a bad service area. It's going real slow, so I'm trying to get my. There we go. I'm trying to get my computer a little closer to the Wi-Fi. So let's go back over these 4 needs that your inner child never got. And these are things that you can give yourself. Number 1, safety. Number 2, protection. Number 3, nurturing. And number 4, permission. So we're going to take a moment now and we're going to do a little imagination interaction with our inner child. And this is kind of what NLP is, neuro linguistic programming. This is kind of an adventure I would do with a client. It can be powerful. Hypnosis in conversational hypnosis is only as effective as the person doing it. It's nothing I do to you. So my words aren't magic in the way that they're going to do anything to you. The only way they're magic is if you allow them in and you allow them to evoke visualization inside your mind. And the reason that we do these kind of, we do these kind of visualizations is because the way your unconscious mind works is with your imagination. So let me try to explain this really easy. When we're setting a goal or an outcome in the future, say for business or family or some personal thing, and it's a big goal, in neurolinguistic programming and in the coaching that I do, we don't set goals, we set outcomes. We literally create a time in the future past when it's already been created, this business or this goal that we want to set, and we see life after it's already been done. And we spend a moment, we spend our meditations for a while in that moment until we can see from that perspective, until we can actually connect with that future self. And in doing that, the unconscious mind doesn't really know if it's real or not. And if we do it right, we can do it in a way that the unconscious mind knows to create it in reality. And so that's kind of what this is doing. This is giving us a time to sit and visualize our inner child and have an interaction with it. The way that I guide you right now doesn't have to be the way that you do it. Just know that this is possible and you could make up your own interaction. This is just giving you kind of a guideline, a shell of an idea of how to do it. So I want you to take a few deep breaths right now. Zeth's going to join us. He's in my lap. We can't see it from my little weird background, but he's sitting in my lap. Take a few deep breaths with me. And I want you to imagine yourself as this inner child as we take a few deep breaths. Just let yourself sink down into the chair wherever you're sitting. Let your eyes relax. Let your breath flow freely. And imagine yourself as a child, whatever age your mind settles on, 5, 8, 10, standing alone in a room from your past. Try to get a visual picture of them, just standing there in a room from your past. What is that child wearing? How are they standing? Look a little bit closer now and try to connect with how they're feeling. Sit with those observations for a moment and see if you can decipher, what do they need? I'll walk up a little closer to them and kneel down in front of them and say, I'm so sorry that you had to go through all of that alone. But I'm here now. I'm never going to leave you again. And as you hug this child and you show them the love that they needed, let them react in any way that they need to. If they need to cry, that's okay. If they need to laugh, that's okay. If you need to cry, it's okay. Just let it happen for a moment. Visualize this meeting between you and this part of yourself that has this wound and has been carrying it alone your entire life. Just let the entire situation just sink in, that you're finally stopping and giving this child the attention that it needed. Maybe nobody else ever has. And as you sit there with this vision, as we get towards the end, I'm going to start opening the Zoom room. The password is 1133. You just have to click the link in the description. And if I see anyone pop in the room, I will let you in. So step one as we get done with this touching scene of hugging our inner child and finally seeing this child, finally giving them the attention they needed. The first step to reparenting is putting a new inner voice, a new parental voice that's not a tyrant. This parent needs to be loving and patient and kind. And this new voice, it says, I've got you. You're safe with me. You don't owe anyone your silence. And you deserve protection. You can think of many, many other sayings to build this inner child up. You can create your own vocabulary. As you hear the words from your past come up when you make a mistake, you can change those words. One of the phrases from my past was shame on you. If you made a mistake, you would get a finger pointed and the most disgusted look on their face, and you would hear shame on you. And this little 3-year-old would not even know what shame was. So now when I make a mistake and those words would start to come through my mind, I change that to it's okay, you're learning. And then I would teach myself whatever I needed. So we can change all of these words. The key is to start paying attention to what's stuck in there, what's already been recorded, what's been put there, and you can remove it over time. Reparenting step 2. This one is important. Boundaries. The inner child needs protection, not justification. So we teach ourself and our inner child how to go no contact with people who want to hurt us. We teach that inner child that there are people out there who get pleasure off of hurting others. And when we see that pattern in someone, we don't have to judge them. We can know that there's something broken inside of them, and we can just stay away from them. So saying no, like an adult protecting a child. So when that toxic person calls and asks to have lunch like you normally do, you can start recognizing that that lunch date might be self-destructive behavior, and you might just be too busy for that from now on, or at least for a time until that relationship changes into something less toxic. Reparenting step 3, self-soothing. Ways that we can self-soothe when we're in the middle of a trigger, when we're feeling the emotions rise or fall. You can start with a hand on your chest, maybe a hand on your belly, or both. Slow breathing. Slow breathing is important, but what's also important for safety and to regulate your nervous system is making sure to take a good deep breath in and breathe out half as slow, half the speed as you breathe in. So you want to breathe in fast and then let it out slow. And that lets your nervous system know that you're safe. Some tools you could use is a weighted blanket. Going outside can help during a trigger, especially if you take your shoes off and ground your feet to the earth. Grounding is very important. But one of the ways that I soothe my inner child in the most direct way is just to talk directly to the inner child. When I'm feeling nervous or when I have something going on and I'm feeling overwhelmed, I will just sit down and just say, all right, what's going on? I know this is from our past. And usually I will start getting visions or memories of similar scenarios from the past. And I'll be able to immediately say, oh yeah, it does feel like we're in the same situation. But then I'll be able to remind that inner child that we have more knowledge now. You know, we have more tools this time around. So talking to the child directly, the inner child directly, is the last tool there. Reparenting step 4, rewiring the script. The old script is I'm too much. The new script is my sensitivity is wisdom. The old script is I'm the problem. The new script is I was the truth teller. The old script, I'm unworthy. The new script, I deserve love without conditions. So these are just a few. These are things that we work on in my weekly groups, things that I work on one with people. Um, we can write personal affirmations to counteract your own personal false beliefs about yourself, or you can sit and do it on your own. So, and that's kind of what this hangout here today is. Looks like I still have 4 watching, and if anyone would like to join me, I believe the link is in the description to join. Oh, this is this video. Oh, yeah, it does. Okay, it is. Yeah, all you have to do is hit the Zoom link, the invite link there, and put in 1133 as the code, and you'll be in the waiting room. And if someone hops in there with me, I'd love to have a conversation. I'm going to give you guys, okay, let me see here. So we're entering the final part of the event. So I'm opening the Zoom room now. Just click the link. Come say hi. Come be seen. Come let your inner child speak if they feel safe. No matter what, if you've been watching today or you watch this sometime in the future, your inner child loves you for coming today. Even if no one in your childhood ever protected you, even if religion shamed you, even if your family blamed you, if you were alienated from the people you love, you showed up for you today. And so I thank you for that, especially the 4 that were here watching live. But anyone who watches this in the future, I thank you for taking care of yourself. There's not enough people right now going inside, fixing the inside of themselves. And that's really all we could do nowadays. There's so many confusing things happening that until you fix the inside, you can't even tell what's real out there. So those of you watching these self-help things and watching other channels like this, you really are changing the world, and I really appreciate you. Keep up the good work. I'm going to play one more song. This song is very dear to me. It's one that I wrote for a dear friend of mine that walked through one of the darkest parts of my life with me. And the song, let me pull it up here real quick. It's called Diamond in the Rough. The song is about integrating your present self with your past inner child and integrating your future self as well. And so I have a really cool video for this. You can go to my YouTube channel on my Love Trust Music and look for Diamond in the Rough and click the video, and you can see the video I made. But right now I'm just going to play the song. I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to see if anyone wants to hop into the Zoom room and have a conversation with me. Let's see, it is 5:48 right now. So I got plenty of time if someone wants to come in and have a conversation. If for some reason you can't get in the Zoom room or something and you need help doing that, you can always text me at 360-798-2184, and I will get that text and I can help you get into the room. Make sure I don't have any text. Nope. All right, so I'm going to play the song from my band Love Trust, Diamond in the Rough. And then when that's over, if someone wants to hop in the Zoom room and talk, I will hang out. And if not, we will say goodnight, and I will be back on Wednesday. So weird. Okay, there we go. Life was hard and oh so rough, but you found a spark within. Now it's time to let love in. Broken pieces in your head, you rebelled, took a stand with a heart that won't give up. You're a diamond in the rough. Broken pieces in your head, you rebuilt, took a stand with a heart that won't give up. Well, it doesn't look like I have anyone brave enough to join me on Zoom tonight. That's okay. We'll get there. I'm going to be doing this event every Sunday and Wednesday. And my goal is I'm going to be going through all the different parts of my coaching, so that when we do my group, my weekly group, will have this content as extra information. So I really want to invite any of you that have been watching this after the replays of these events, Sunday and Wednesday from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. I'm setting aside time just to have an open conversation. I'm hoping to get more people on Zoom with me so we can have some live conversations and talk about things that you guys are going through. I can answer questions live, um, and hopefully kind of build a community here and get to know some of you. So if you're watching this after playing, you have any suggestions or comments about what we talked about, please comment them on the video, or text any feedback to my company phone 360-798-2184. I started these healing in nature events this last summer and was doing them live and had such a good response that when it got to be cold and I couldn't go to the parks anymore, I thought to move them online because I figured people might want to hang out in nature with me online. So I'm hoping that we can keep this thing going and I can get some more participation. So I think the 4 that have been watching this whole time, if you guys don't mind liking the video for me so we can try to get it out to have more people see. Oh, thank you, Efren. Great subject, he says. I had to change up the format. He was with me on Thanksgiving. We had to delete our video because it got hacked and had some adult content being streamed. So for the couple of you that were watching the Thanksgiving stream, I apologize if any of you saw that. I am very amateur here, and I had closed out the whole meeting by clicking the X, not ending the meeting, which locked me out, and somebody else jumped in and started live streaming. So I've fixed it now where you need to go into a waiting room first, so you can't take control over it. And I made sure that nobody else can live stream. So I guess I'm a noob. Is that what they call it? I didn't know what I was doing, and someone taught me a hard lesson. So sorry for anyone who got caught up in that. It should never happen again. Because this time when I end the stream, I'm going to do it right by ending the meeting for all. So, which I think I'm going to do here in a minute because I don't have much more info. So I thank you all for joining me. I'm kind of beat after all the holidays and having to learn that on Thanksgiving, day before yesterday. So I will be back on Wednesday. I think today is Sunday, yes. So in 2 days, we'll be back at 5 p.m. So please join me. Please be ready to hop on Zoom with questions, challenge my brain. My name is AJ, owner of AJ Inc. It is so nice to meet you guys and to see the comments on the last few videos. I will see you all very soon. Have a great night.